What's up, everybody? I got a request recently for an analysis slash tutorial for Kashmir, and I really liked the sound of that request because Kashmir is a pretty simple track in comparison to some other songs. So I thought I'll do it first. Yeah, so here I am. I'll show you because it's not a super complicated song. I'll just show you how to play it, and most importantly I'll talk about the common mistakes that people do when they learn this arrangement. Luckily there's been a lot of covers of this arrangement already, so I've seen a lot of people playing it, and the vast majority makes the same mistakes. So hopefully this can show you that the right way, right, of playing this arrangement. So yeah, it starts. The Instagram video starts differently from the official one. I'll talk about the official one, but all the parts are still there. So it just starts off with the main riff, right? Play slowly for you. Yeah, that's the first part, and there's both of the things that you do here, the riff and the percussion, are very easy if you split them, but together there's one main issue that I think 90% of people that I saw play this arrangement do, and that's the alternating rhythm. It's like the simplest thing ever. You have the kick and the snare, and the kick and the snare, right? And over and over. But because the pulse or the pulse of the riff is not necessarily 4/4, it's not so obvious, people oftentimes don't alternate it properly, so they play like, right? That's wrong. They do, because it's easier mentally to play this, right? Because the kick always falls on the nice strike. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. I don't want to be a meanie, but essentially this is the worst mistake you can make in this track, because it's the key here is this banal rhythm. That's what drives the track, and if you change it, you're essentially just draining the soul from the music. So if you learn this track, or if you play anything really, make sure that the pulse is right, because that's what it's for, right? So yeah, so then you can see that the next chord, the first one is, and this one, when it starts on the snare, right? That's what people have problem with, because they want to start with the kick. No, make sure to start with the slap. So the way I do it is the kick is always the same, so it's just this hit, right? Bottom of your wrist. I'm a mutant, as you can see. I have this little thing already, but just hit it like this with your like a lever movement. I talked about it before. And then the snare is a couple of different ways. If you play the snare without playing the strings, so in between, like first, not first, but later, without playing anything, you can play this, which is like the strongest one. It's really cool. So basically you do this L shape with your fingers, and then you just snap this area really strong. That's like the only thing that actually might hurt you, so maybe not too strong, but it's a very powerful hit, and watch my movement, right? Sort of this like pop of your wrist. So that's cool. I like that. So that's one way to do it. But then if you want to mute the strings, which you have to do sometimes, you don't play here. You would do the same thing, but slap the strings and leave your finger on the strings, because this way you mute them, right? So yeah, and they're muted. Also let go just slightly of your fingers. So if you play this, then just slightly let go, you basically mute the strings with your left hand as well. Not like this, because then you know, leave it out, just, and they're muted. So, and then you come back with the slap. So now it's not here, it's not muting, it's playing the strings, so you just strike and let go, right? So it's gonna be, yeah, this sort of movement. Yeah, so the thumb hits it right here. The finger is again an L shape, and it hits those two strings, A and D, yeah? So it's, you can practice. Yeah. So same thing again, right? So it's, I don't even think I used this one, but it's very cool, so I, you know, whatever. And then you can also do other stuff like here, just a full-on slap, you know, big hand just all over. Because then again, you like mute it very strongly. So also another mistake that people do all the time, I see them doing, is then they essentially repeat the phrase in the wrong point. So the phrase ends after this. Yeah, it doesn't end. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. So the phrase ends here. Then yeah, that's the new phrase already happening, and you wouldn't want to come back to this chord and just repeat. You don't play the kick at the same time, right? First you start with this, but at the end you do. So it's an offbeat, right? You don't start with the kick again, yeah? Do you know what I mean? Like the second time you play this chord, it's not the same point in the rhythm. That's why the track is so brilliant, I think, by Led Zeppelin. I mean, it's such a cool idea to have these rhythms sort of overlapping, but not necessarily at the same places. So make sure that always you're having this movement, you know, yeah. Then you play the, you know, the open string every once in a while, and when you do that, it would be cool from time to time to make it growl, you know, like, yeah. I described how I do this in a previous video, so you can check that out, like obscure techniques, I think I called it. So. Get to this chord, and we go to a transition which takes us to the next part, yeah? Gallop strumming, as usual, just mute your strings, use your middle finger as the tapping finger, so... Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I talk about this so much, I'm not gonna dwell on it too much, but yeah. Yeah, there's a transition. Again, slowly. the chorus of the track. I changed the percussion here in the arrangement because I thought that it was so boring to just keep on doing this. Like, really not exciting like this. Way more exciting. Yeah. So I mean, it's all in the tabs. You can get the tabs on Patreon as well. But one thing that people, I mean, it's not a mistake, it's just a weird thing to do, is that you play this tapping with other fingers than these two. These two are the strongest fingers, so you should use them. There's no point playing it like this. That makes no sense. And also when you're here, now it's so weird getting to this one. You should be playing like this, and then this is very natural too. Yeah, so make sure you're playing this with the right two fingers. It's so like finger choice. People like don't think that it's important to actually choose the right fingers on your left hand because, well, you can do it multiple ways, so why not do it this way? But really, you run into so many problems if you don't choose them naturally. So this is the most natural and the only right way. Yeah. So notice that when I'm tapping my middle finger, I just let it ring out for as long as I can. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Just keep holding it. Yeah. You can practice just that over and over. Yeah, then we have this. Yeah. No specific fret to slide to, just slide, you know, slide away. Then you detune the guitar. Yeah. I don't use any special tuners like banjo tuners or anything that you can, you know, put a nice space on it where you want to go to, and I don't like that. I think it's a lot more like organic and sort of spontaneous if you actually try to listen. Yeah. That's a lot, I think it's a lot cooler. I mean, personally, and it's always different. So you basically, it's a lot easier to do this with your guitar, like if you go more vertically, because your hand naturally goes this way. Like here, it's a bit weird because you have to twist your wrist like this doesn't look natural at all. Like doing this is weird. Doing this isn't too natural, but it's a lot more natural than, you know, doing something like this. Yeah. So, and it also looks a lot cooler, so it's so nice. Just go like here, you know, and then tune it down and then up. Yeah, so you go down, yeah. Yeah, and try to listen, because if you play, you can go down, and then if you need help getting back, you can play the open 4 strings. Then when you slide back up, you have the reference, yeah. That helps me basically get the right pitch each time, or close to each time. Yeah, so there's a little transition. Then in the music video, what I do is go into an electronic sort of section, so it's so that's just an added 808, you know, bass section. It's not actual guitar playing exposed. But in, you know, if I were to play live or like in a more acoustic setting, you know, I would go into what I do on Instagram. So do that, you know, detune and then go into, which is a very difficult transition, but it's so satisfying to get right. So first you detune, then you go into, with the huge growl, yeah. So the way I do it is because it's very difficult to get the growl to be consistent, you know. So a nice way to sort of cheat into it, not cheat, but to get the sound right, is to put your finger, one of your fingers, I use the index finger, close to the 6th string, but don't block it, so that when it vibrates, it lightly touches the tip of your fingers, so it creates this buzz, which sounds like a growl. It won't work probably 100% of the time. You need to get the right feel to do it, but that's how I do it. So, yeah. I talk about this technique in a different video, so I'm not gonna talk about it now. Yeah. Yeah. So then, yeah. Again. That's the transition. There's no point in me talking through each. Just watch it, you know. Yeah, sorry. Then again, and that's my nightmare in this track. It's so hard to get consistently. The way I arranged this is I thought of a E flat minor, E flat diminished arpeggio, which is going to be a descending diminished progression towards the tonic, which is D, right? So you play the, yeah, not this. It's a nice sort of movement. It's not the dominant chord, which is obvious. Like if I played, it's so obvious. But this, it's a lot more metal and interesting. So, yeah. So you go for the 1st and 4th fret, tap, hold the tap. If you hold it, then you get this really nice harmony. Yeah. Then you go to the 9th fret with your, ugly middle finger. Slide to the 12th fret. I need to figure out what I do. Yeah, then you go to this 5th fret of the G string. And then the tuning is D Dadgat, by the way, D A D G A D, but it's in the taps. You don't necessarily have to always get right to the 12th fret, because the audience is going to hear what you want to do, because it's in the arpeggio, so it's natural, but it's nice to try to aim for it, you know. Then we go into another med part. It's very similar to this. Very similar. The only difference is the first section of each section. The first bar, essentially, of each new section. So, first chord. Yeah, gallop strumming. Again, you strike the snare with this L shape and hit this 7th fret, A here, and mute all of the other strings with your index finger. So you can see I'm muting every single thing except the fret I want. It's very difficult to do quickly, but it's a must if you want to play this style well. So yeah, so you can see it's all open, but then I put my finger on it and then it's closed. Yeah. the same exact thing. You just go from to here. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. And then you go again the same thing. Yeah. But to change the second section, yeah. We just basically strum each string on the 5th fret here, bottom 3 strings. Yeah. And the 8th fret on your right hand. I change the fingers I tap with here because it's a lot easier to just alternate. If you wanna do this, it's also possible. Or this. But whatever you want. Let me just play it once. Is that how I play it? I'm not sure which string I play usually. Let me just... I have no clue which string is the last one. Let's say it's this. But it's not. But let's say it's this. You can see in the sheet music what it is. But it's the same movement, yeah? I think it's just this. Same exact thing, we just change the chords, yeah? So... 10th fret and 12th on your right hand. Yeah. You can play this in 2 different ways. You can play just playing your index finger back and forth over and over, or gallop strumming, so that's how I play it. So just 8 and 8. Or this. Same thing. Then octave up, 5th up, octave up. Yeah, here you have the harmonics up high, somewhere over your sound hole you'll find them. 13 and 24. Sorry, so 25 and 24. Yeah, so that's the whole section. Then you go back into... Now, just a small change. After this arpeggio, you go into tapping with your right hand. Don't let go of this, of the D string here. Kind of tough, but... And back to normal. So, slowly, like... happens here is we start playing tremolo, tremolo, like a proper Italian, but it's not immediately a full tremolo like later, just small bits of it. So you just play, yeah, like a small flare, you know. So it should be like this, that the rhythm is just like this. But the first high note, you switch to the little tremolo, you know? Now, full on. So tremolo is a classical technique, also flamenco, but mostly classical. With your 3 fingers, you're going to start with A and then M and then I, just repeat. Yeah, and a good exercise to get nice synchronization is to play with all your 3 fingers at once, very slowly like this. So you practice. It's like the weirdest exercise ever, but it really works. Like you just play together. Yeah. That's the end. Then you go back to the same as before. I just realized we didn't talk about one thing. Sometimes in the main riff for the second half, you're going to not play just, but you're going to play, yeah, and then you're going to add another octave. I forgot to talk about it, sorry. So you're going to play the same thing, then slap the 12 frets, yeah. And bend your neck, hold your hand here, bend the neck. Come back, yeah. Mute. And then go back to doing the same thing. But this time with arthritis. No. So this time you're going to double the melody with your pinky, right? So you're going to play. Oh, sorry. Whoever can do this stretch is, is a boss, right? Look at that. Don't do it for too long. Like honestly, it's not very healthy. But yeah, so. Notice whenever I'm not playing the actual melodies, I always let go. You can see a small movement, me letting go. And hold my fingers in the right spots because I'm muting all the strings, yeah? Yeah, that's the whole Kashmir, I hope to see even more covers of it now with the right rhythm, and everything. Yeah, cheers guys.